I'm back working with juveniles, but they're first offenders, and our goal was to provide them with the skills they needed not to reoffend. Um, did that for 3 years and found out it was reaffirmed to me how without a good support system, how kids can fall between the cracks. I had a kid once tell me this. I never forgot this. Never. We were facilitating a group, and one of the questions I asked that evening was, guys, tell me, why are you so angry? What is there? Is it the music? Is it TV? What causes you to be so angry and go out and violate somebody's person or their property? This guy told me, and I tell this story all the time to people, this kid told me, he said, Mr. Peace, I got the answer. And I had taken this boy home a couple of times because I had to go past his neighborhood to go home. And if he didn't have a ride, I'd just take him home. But he said, Mr. Peace, here's the deal. I didn't make the rules in my neighborhood, but I have to live in my neighborhood. He said, in this place, I know the rules. I know what's expected of me, and I'm going to do that. But Mr. Peace, I like you, and these were his exact words. I like you, I think you're cool. But if you're in my neighborhood, and this was his words, broke bad English, but if me and my boys catch you, and you have something we want, we'll take it. And it's not personal, because that's the rule. And my next question was, but if you like me and you think I'm cool, why wouldn't you say something to these guys that indicates you know me? His comment was, because I have to live in that neighborhood. That's the rule.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. I never forgot it. And this boy ended up killing somebody. Yep.
So if that's the rule, see, okay, so I'm this. We want to get back to the college years, but
Right.
But this I think it reflects a lot. I've done a lot of research in a prison literacy program that's at Dawson State Jail. I can't. I've done a lot of conference papers. I've presented on it. I keep thinking that's my next book project, but I can't spend enough time with these women in this incredibly successful program. Women and men, inmates tutoring inmates. It's amazing in there. They get, it's a 2-year facility, so many of these are sentences that are under 2 years, but it's also a transfer facility.
Right.
I don't know. I asked the woman who leads this. It's Texas Hope Literacy and Lucy Smith, who's been doing this for 10, 15 years. She never loses hope for these women, but they do all the time, because they get out and life crushes them.
Right.
And so she continues to put new reentry programs in. She brings CPS in so these people can negotiate for getting their children back. They've offended again and again, but they go back home and life crushes them.
That's right.
And it seems like I can't go and I can't do that kind of advocacy because it crushes me that it just seems so hard, and the changes are so minuscule and they're so uncommon, and the Texas criminal justice system in particular seems to be have a very different mindset that once they've offended, forget it, because they're going to offend again, and because the system's set up for them to offend again, they will offend again, and they'll say, see? So how do you keep, how do you,
It's, you save those who can be saved. And there are oftentimes, I'm going to go back to Texas Youth Commission. One of the other reasons that I quit that job is because I figured it out. Because we had a revolving door. And I'm thinking, okay, this is not rocket science. We empower these young kids with some extraordinary skills. They leave here prepared and ready to make it in their community. But we never change the community. And they go back to it and they reoffend, and we say, why did they reoffend? Guys,
the rules are the same.
The rules are the same. They've got to live in that neighborhood. And the thing that I learned, I guess, that sums up my experience with young people is, no matter how much time you spend with them, it cannot undo what happens in their home. I took a young lady home once. I never forgot. She just was a wonderful kid. And we had a service, had a band, and I dropped her off. And when she knocked on the door, her mom said, "Bitch, what do you want?" Unfortunately, I had the window down, and I looked and I thought, wow.
Welcome home, baby.
Yeah, her mom. Yeah. So if you don't change the community, you change nothing.
So how did you get then from these working with first-time offenders, working with young offenders, working with communities, to now working with college students? This is a much. I mean, there's always promise.
Right.
They may have backgrounds, but that's not something that's part of our story.
Here's how I got here. That job, I worked there. My next job was with a national program called the I Have a Dream Foundation. Mm-hmm. And what they do is adopt students as early as the first grade. They adopt all of them. They adopt a school. Let's just say we go into A.L. Williams here, and we adopt all the first graders. The program stayed with that same group of students through graduation. And the carrot that they dangle, well, the three-pronged program. One is we have a full-time staff member that work with the students and family in the schools, in their homes. They had a volunteer mentor that we would recruit and train and pair with that family. And lastly, the carrot that we dangled was if you graduated from high school and you wanted to go to college, if you could not find resources, we could at least provide you a $2,000 scholarship to get you in the door and to help work with you to get other resources to go to college. And so that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And so actually we paid the tuition fees for a lot of students to come here. I would guide them here. Mm-hmm.
Now why?
Because it's my alma mater.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I would guide them here. And
let me ask you what you think your coursework here at ET had on your work with your various social work positions and counseling positions.
Right. I had an experience immediately at the Texas Youth Commission that made me rethink everything I had learned, because our counseling department was Carl Rogers. It was you get them to you repeat or rephrase what they say, and it's all emotional. I had a kid who walked up to me, and I never forgot it. He walked up to me, and I know he'd been bad news at the facility. He'd actually hurt a couple of house parents. There was a house parent on one of the people who did the work with him throughout the day. He injured her. This boy walked up to me, and I knew it was going to happen ultimately, and he said, "I'm about to knock the fuck out of you." Mm-hmm. Those were his words.
You're going to repeat that?
He's standing in my face.
And so was Yuri and Red.
And I'm thinking, okay. And then I thought, you know what? Now's not the time for that. I took my glasses off. I restrained him because we had restraint training not only at Corsicana, but I had restraint training when I worked at Turtle State Hospital. Mm-hmm. So I restrained him. It's noontime. It's hot. It's summer. He's on the ground, and he's as large as me, but once I got him down, he couldn't get up. But I couldn't let him up because I was going to put him down again. We literally sat on the ground for 45 minutes till somebody came and helped us.
Wow.
Yeah, and I learned, okay, there's a time and place for it.
Yeah.
But this was not the time. I was fully equipped, though, in a normal setting, facilitating groups, to provide what the students needed. Not only was I connected to them intellectually, but I was connected to them emotionally. The deal for me is I had to